We're at Lake Murray in the heart of South Carolina for a Bassmaster BP Top 100 tournament. This is our first stop here on the BASS Tournament Trail, but it won't be the last. This 61-year-old power company reservoir is an unheralded bass factory. After 3 practice days, many pros say it's among the top 5 bass lakes in the country. We'll see. The pros are pumped. The bass are in their fall feeding patterns. I'm Bob Cobb. Stay tuned. The Bassmasters will be right back from Columbia, South Carolina.
South Carolina's Lake Murray, site of the $291,200 Bassmaster BP Top 100. And for the top 100 touring pros on the Bass Angler Sportsman Society's Tournament Trail, it's a fish-off they've been waiting for. This 50,000-acre lake, located just a few miles from Columbia, South Carolina, is loaded with big-mouth bass. But it's also October, a season of change. For these pros and their amateur partners, things could be better. The largemouths had been biting. Some anglers reported fantastic fishing during the 3 practice days. But that was before the cold front hit. Still, you can figure someone will find the combination, regardless of the weather. Like Missouri's Guido Hibden proves at this first day weigh-in.
Guido is from Missouri. He's Angler of the Year on 2 occasions. Incredible man. He is the original David Crockett. I want you to look at the creel, folks. 19 pounds and 4 ounces for Guido Hibden, and there's your new leader.
Although it's still the heaviest total weight at the end of the tournament that brings home the gold, these Bassmasters often fish Pro-Am events a bit differently. Pro-Ams are 4-day tournaments. This longer fishing period means it's important to have more than one pattern or more than one honey hole, because it's unusual for one single lure technique or place to hold up for the entire 4 days. As a case in point, it's only the second round, but tournament leader Guido Hibden is having a tough time getting his upriver bass to cooperate. Flipping a jig yesterday along the Saluda riverbanks paid big dividends, but today, so far, it's a bust. In 5th place, Virginia's Carlos Sellers and his amateur partner Bill Tinges of Michigan are catching bass. But they're having problems boating keeper fish, which must measure at least 12 inches to reach the weigh-in scales in this tournament.
Another one, I guess it's
But like yesterday, it's a sure bet someone will find and catch the good ones, like Texas pro David Wharton, who started this morning in 2nd place.
He has got a sack of bass. 16 pounds and 2 ounces, folks. That's going to keep it right up there. And bingo! Grab those 2 biggest bass and show them the Bassmasters man here in the red shirt. You have taken the lead. Wharton has taken the lead, folks. Let's give him a nice salute. All right, here we go.
Day 3 of the South Carolina Bassmaster BP Top 100. The fog rolls in early, but the forecast is for bright, clear skies, tough fishing conditions. Although David Wharton leads by nearly 2 pounds, this tournament is wide open. But for Missouri's Johnny Borton in 4th place, frustration enters the picture. Florida's Peter Tilaveras in 6th place has a good pattern going. He's working a Carolina rigged lizard in a cove minutes from the weigh-in site near the dam. In addition to being a full-time touring Bassmaster pro, Peter T. is also a gourmet cook. Johnny Borton has weighed in a 7 bass limit the past 2 days. What's his strategy?
I've kind of had to keep adjusting. I'm not finding, well, I'd like to say I'm good enough that I'm catching all the fish out of an area, but that's not really the case. I'm fishing the same area of the lake but one day I'll catch them. Oh. There. Stay down, stay down. And then some days I won't catch them.
Stay on board. The Bassmasters will be right back from Columbia, South Carolina, and the Bassmaster BP Top 100 Tournament.
There we go. Right.
Georgia's Tom Mann Jr. is used to fishing deep, clear water impoundments. He's weighed in 7 bass limits the first 2 days of this Bassmaster BP Top 100. He's in position to threaten the leaders if he can land a couple of heavyweights. The leader, David Wharton, is catching bass this third morning. Wharton, a veteran Lake Sam Rayburn, Texas guide and consistent finalist in Bassmaster Classic competitions, has a knack for figuring out the bass in open water grass beds.
There we go.
What's Tom Mann Jr. doing to catch his bass?
These fish are typical fall fish, what I call them. They're just a roaming. They're going all over the lake chasing the bait in open water. And occasionally they'll get on the ends of these grass beds and just hold there, but they won't hold there very long. You just got to be awful lucky to pull up on the right spot at the right time. The fish are very easy to catch. You know, when you locate them, they're very aggressive. You'll see fish busting shad, chasing bait all over the lake. And I guess occasionally just, you know, they just get tired of being in the open water, and they'll actually start holding on the grass and the structure. A roaming fish, what I call them ghost fish, because they, in the fall, the shad start to really school up, and the bass start schooling with them, and they just start chasing right out in open water. And they get off of structure, and a bass off structure is the hardest fish in the world to catch. He's almost impossible. And the fish that I'm catching, I'm only getting 1 or 2 bites on the spot, and I just feel like it's the fish that have maybe been chasing the bait around and got on that grass bed, and they'll be right on the ends of these grass beds, right on the points. They're right where they're supposed to be when you get a bite.
David Wharton is still locating bass along main lake grass lines. In this competition, every strike is important. A single slip can make a huge difference on payday. There's $46,000 to the winner. Second place pays $30,000.
Oh, he won't do either.
Without a doubt, this is going to be a close tournament, as Tom Mann Jr. knows.
Yeah. I think David Wharton's probably the guy that I'm going to have to beat to win this tournament. I'm pretty sure we're fishing the same type pattern and basically the same baits. He may be using a little bit different bait than I am, but I'm pretty sure he's gonna be the guy that I'm gonna have to beat to win this tournament. Oh, this is a real giant. No.
What's the leader, David Wharton, doing differently?
This grass here on Lake Murray grows in like a 9 to 12 foot contour. Most of it is in the main lake, off the islands out here in the main lake, and then little ridges that run off these islands. This grass here is Elodea. It looks similar to hydrilla, but it's a little bit different grass. It's not quite as tough or not quite as thick as hydrilla is. What I've been doing is, this water is pretty clear here, so what I've been doing is trying to stay away from the fish a little bit, making a little bit longer casts. I'm also using a little bit lighter line. If this grass was a little bit thicker, I would be using a heavier line and making a little bit shorter casts. These fish seem to be kind of bunched up in it. You go quite a while without getting a bite, and then when you hit a little spot, you usually get 2 or 3 hits. But that's very characteristic for fishing grass. That's pretty well universal anywhere you go. what I've done is throw a marker out. You can probably see it right down there. I caught a fish there earlier and put a marker out, and I'm going to keep working back and forth. Usually when I go by there, we get a bite.
Weigh-in time, and the Pro Division standings are about to change.
David Horton, our leader, folks. Here he is. David is coming up here with 34 pounds and leading the tournament. And, folks, he fell short of his limit of 7 bass. Only 4 bass to his credit. And the weight, 6 pounds, 13 ounces for David Horton. And I believe that still keeps him in the lead, as he does. David, I feel the disappointment.
Well, I said yesterday when you get a bite, you better catch him, and I didn't do that today. I lost, jumped off 2 fish right at the boat, and then I missed one. He ate my worm up, and I jerked, and he wasn't there. And then I broke off a fish on the very last cast out there where I caught the big fish yesterday, and I'm sure it was a good bass. So you don't win tournaments losing fish.
Now, a new contender, Missouri's Randy Mosley.
5th place, if you note the scoreboard, on the pro side. He had 26 pounds and 9 ounces through yesterday, and today, a solid limit of bass. I got news for you. He can make a charge on the lead. Watch the scale. 17 pounds, 3 ounces. There's your big stringer. Boy, that's fantastic. Now, we want to show you the magic of success is a limit to the fat girl in the sack. And there they are.
The Bassmasters will be right back with the showdown round of the South Carolina Bassmaster BP Top 100. Stay tuned. There's some big bass in Lake Murray. This fish-off is far from over.
Folks, there it is right there.
As the Bassmaster BP Top 100 anglers start this final day, the top 5 are bunched. Randy Mosley leads, but at this point, it's anyone's tournament. As the morning progresses, it's Mosley's amateur partner, Gaspard Teresi of New York, who gets the action in the back of the boat. The amateurs in this event must fish behind the pros. The leading amateur earns a $19,000 fully rigged Ranger bass boat.
Nice fish, partner. Good job.
Arkansas pro George Cochran in 9th place is making a charge. His pattern is a bit offbeat. A weightless 8-inch banana-colored plastic worm reeled slowly. This yellow lure is working in the dingy off-colored water upriver. Cochran is keying on man-made brush piles around docks. This morning's leader, Randy Mosley, finally scores. The word out on the lake is that neither Peter Tilaveras, Tom Mann Jr., or David Wharton is anywhere near a limit. It's going to be close.
That's a fish.
The final weigh-in. Randy Mosley has fallen back, but David Wharton has bass in the bag. But does he have enough?
He needs 5 pounds. David Wharton needs 5 pounds and 2 ounces to take the lead. The weight, 7 pounds, 15 ounces. He takes the lead. Bingo! You led the tournament and you slipped out and back in again. What's your impressions?
Well, I tell you, fishing really got tough today for some reason. I guess it's these high, bright skies. The water's pretty clear out here, so, you know, I think if we'd had a cloud cover, I think you'd have seen the weights a whole lot bigger than what they were.
What lure did you use to catch those fish all week?
I caught most all my fish on a June bug colored ditto gator tail worm. I was using 12-pound line, making pretty long casts. I was fishing the grasslands in about 9 to 11 feet of water, and the fish were rather spooky. So what I was doing different probably than a lot of people was making pretty long casts to try to keep from spooking the fish. The fish were kind of bunched up when you got on them. Fish a long time without getting a bite, and then you catch a couple of fish in a row.
Tom Mann Jr. is yet to weigh in. Can he pull it off?
Tom Mann needs 7 pounds and 13 ounces to take the lead. He had 41 pounds holding in 3rd place. His weight today. He needs 7 pounds and 13 ounces. Folks, he won't make the lead. 7 pounds 7. Let's give him a doggone. Tom, I tell you, I know how you feel, buddy. That's lots of money. You can buy a nice home for what you missed on that fish.
Well, Ray, I had probably one of the poorest days of execution I've ever spent in any tournament day. I had 9 bites. I only landed 5 of them. I broke my line on the hook set one time. I hooked 3 other fish that just come unhooked. I really was, I was just too careful. I knew it was going to be, if I caught a limit today, I felt like I was going to win the tournament. And every bite I got, I was very aware of the bite, but I was just too careful. I took too long on the hook set. I've been just, when I got a bite, reel down, set the hook, and land the fish.
Now, yesterday's amateur leader, South Carolina's Wayne Vining.
All right, here we go. You got to have about nearly 4 pounds to take the lead. It's going to be real close. 5 pounds, 13 ounces.
And that does it. The amateur division winner, Wayne Vining.
I have really enjoyed these 4 days. Not because I won. It do make it better. But I have really enjoyed it. And I'll be glad when you come back again, because you'll be the first one to get my money.
And the champion of the South Carolina Bassmaster BP Top 100, David Wharton.
David, I tell you, you've been in the winner's circle before, but this has got to be one of the sweetest.
Well, it's been a long time. I won one back in '87 now. It was on my home lake, but I think coming to a new lake like this one and kind of coming in here cold and just going fishing is what I did, and found enough fish to win, so it feels great.
As more and more fishermen join the ranks of tournament bass anglers, there's yet another group practicing in the wings for a maybe someday shot at professional bass angling. They're the Bassmaster BP Casting Kids. Casting Kids, a program created by the Bass Angler Sportsman Society and BP, is similar to the old NFL-sponsored punt, pass, and kick. The youngsters between the ages of 7 and 14 pitch, flip, and cast a lure down a casting lane to a 42-inch target. Don Corcoran, National BASS Federation Director, explains the program.
Bassmaster BP Casting Kids is a new nationwide program that over the next year will qualify children in flipping, pitching, and casting, not unlike the old program of punt, pass, and kick. These children will join local competitions hosted by the 1,800 local BASS chapters nationwide, and from those local chapters they will then go up and compete in state championships, divisional championships, and the 10 divisional winners will go on to the Bassmasters Classic next August to compete for the coveted title of champion of the Bassmaster BP Casting Kids competition for 1991-92.
Those casting kids who make the national finals will compete for $20,000 in college scholarships. For additional information about Bassmaster BP Casting Kids, contact your local BASS chapter or write the BASS Federation, P.O. Box 17900, Montgomery, Alabama, 36141.
There's one. There's one. Good one, too.
Right now, it's time for the Pros Pointer, the how-to section of the Bassmasters. Brought to you by Wrangler, the most comfortable jeans known to man.
When you're grass fishing, a lot of times what you want to do is peg the sinker into the worm. And this worm weight right here is made by Gambler, and it's got a little wire deal right there that you can see, and it just screws right into the head of the worm. And what that does, when you rig this worm right here, you put it like that, rig the worm just regular old Texas style, and then you just screw this right into the head of the worm. Now then, what that does when you're fishing grass like we were here at Lake Murray is that when this worm goes down through the grass, or the sinker goes down through the grass, the worm has got to go with it. So it keeps the worm and the sinker all together in one piece. If you don't peg the sinker, a lot of times your weight will go to the bottom, but your worm will be stuck up in the grass, and you won't even know if you're on bottom or not, or getting a bite or not. So when you're fishing grass, always peg that sinker.